SCAD has been committed to honoring the histories of place and threading that into its construction as a way to celebrate those legacies. Take, for instance, this complex here, which rests upon the remains of the Central of Georgia Railway. Two of the passengers to come through here were William and Ellen Craft, and this was their first stop on their journey of 1,000 miles to freedom.
My wife's first master was her father, and her mother, his slave. Our condition as slaves was not by any means the worst, but the thought that we had to give up our earnings to a tyrant to enable him to live in idleness and luxury, this haunted us for years.
I first heard the story of William and Ellen Craft, my great-great-grandparents, when I was a child.
She was very fair, looked almost white, if not completely, and he was a dark-skinned African-American. They thought of a scheme whereby she would change gender, race, and class. She would dress up in a man's outfit, top hat, coat, and he would be her manservant. Along the way, because they couldn't read or write, so she would not have to write during this journey, she put her arm in a sling. She also put a poultice around her neck so she wouldn't have to do the talking.
They timed it for the Christmas season because some masters would grant a couple of days at Christmas time if it was a favored slave, so it gave them a head start.
I took my wife by the hand, stepped softly to the door, raised the latch, drew it open, and stepped as softly out as moonlight upon the water, for fear the sleeping tyrant should be aroused.
Then walked separately to the train station, purchased train tickets to Savannah, to the train station right here.
Just before the train moved off, I peeped through the window, and to my great astonishment, I saw the cabinet maker with whom I had worked so long on the platform. He commenced looking rapidly into the carriages. Fully believing that we were caught, I shrank into a corner, but as God would have it, before he reached mine, the bell rang, and the train moved off. Our travels took us from Macon on down to Savannah, then up through the Carolinas, Virginia, D.C., Baltimore, and then Philadelphia. We traveled by foot, train, steamer, and ship.
They almost got caught because they had to make several stops along the way before they got to Philadelphia. But they made it, and they were on free soil Christmas morning, 1848.
As I've gotten older, Christmas Day has a different meaning for me now. Because if you imagine that for 4 days, if they had gotten caught, they would have been returned to their slave master and brutally treated and maybe killed.
The risk that they took to run away, at the core of that is that they just wanted to have a family. They just wanted to be a husband and wife. They just wanted what all human beings want to have. They were settling into a community that embraced them, and they were thinking about having children there. Ellen was a seamstress, and William is making cabinets. In fact, he has a small store.
Shortly after they arrived in Boston, the Fugitive Slave Law came into effect in 1850, and this was an act of Congress whereby slave owners from the South could come north and take custody of their chattel.
They had to uproot themselves once again. So here they are in yet another city where they have to pick themselves up and they have to leave, just the two of them, to unknown territory.
My wife and myself were both unwell when we left Boston. And having taken fresh cold on the journey to Halifax, when we went boarded the ship, my wife was very poorly and so ill on the voyage that I did not believe she could live to see Liverpool. However, I am thankful to say that we arrived. We raised our thankful hearts to heaven, knelt down and kissed the soil, for we felt that free from slavery. We were able to acquire a little of that education which we were so shamefully deprived of.
Was a time to exhale and to breathe and to have their children, enjoy their children. And of course, that's when he wrote the book.
They have all 5 children in England. In addition, they are very much a part of what's going on in the anti-slavery movement.
They stayed in England for about 18 years.
They wanted to return to the United States to be able to teach Blacks how to read and write, give them the opportunity that they had while in London.
Their determination to help other people overcame their desire to be comfortable.
They settled in this area, in Bryan County, as a matter of fact, and they bought quite a number of acreage, and they founded a school.
They're continuously harassed.
The Ku Klux Klan paid a visit to their house and burned it down. You would think that some people would go back to London because life was difficult, but they didn't. They stayed.
He's free. His family is free. That's what's so amazing about my ancestors. They never gave up. They never gave up.
Years later, they moved to Charleston to stay with their daughter, Ellen, and that's where they died.
I actually remember telling President Wallace about the Kraft story, and I saw tears coming down her eyes. I had gone to one of the local agencies to ask them to put up a plaque for the Crafts, and they said no, they weren't going to do it. But Paula Wallace and Glenn Wallace came up to me and they said, we'll do something about it.
Several years ago, my family members were invited here to SCAD to witness the unveiling of a commemorative marker that has been placed right there in the museum.
This story is the power of refusal. They dreamed of a life that didn't exist, but that compelled them to move forward.
Songs and the African-American experience are critical to everything that we do. So few things which we were permitted to do, and singing was one of those. There's a song called Guide My Feet. It goes, oh, Lordy, won't you guide my feet? Oh, Lord, now guide my feet. The fact that the museum was built with the bricks that slaves had made gives it a special history so that as we tell this story, others can look to their own histories, add to it, be a part of it. And I do believe that the story isn't over yet. I believe there's stories to come.